Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to talk about Watch Dogs and why it failed. Well, failing may be a harsh word, but do you know what? It's not done as well as what Ubisoft would have hoped it would have done 10 years ago. Look, if you don't know Watch Dogs, it's basically, look at it as a Grand Theft Auto style game. Grand Theft Auto is popular and people know Grand Theft Auto. If you've never seen or played Watch Dogs, it's a little bit like that, except there's more stuff to it. Anyway, Watch Dogs, when it was first announced, was shown as this really graphical, awesome looking trailer. And you know what? It looked really, really good. Eventually, when it came out, it was severely downgraded. I know I say severely downgraded. It still looked good. There's no denying it looked good, but it didn't look as good as the trailers. Now, it must be said that I actually really, really love Watch Dogs. I think it's a great game. So much so that I have it 3 times. Yeah. That was the one I got first, and then I got the Xbox One version and the PS4 version. Anyway, look, Aiden Pearce was a great character. I love the darkness, the couldn't care less attitude of him. I thought it was great, but a lot of people didn't like it. And I think that hate was down to how it looked, versus how it was presented. And I don't think that's fair to say that, Watch Dogs was a bad game because of that. Imagine if Ubisoft had never shown us any of that, really fancy looking graphics that they originally showed. Would it be the same? Well, yeah, probably actually, because a lot of the criticism was down to the game itself being a little bit bland, boring, and not as awesome as Ubisoft made it sound. But regardless, I still liked it. I loved it being set in Chicago. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant game. Yes, there are better games out there, but yes, there are worse games out there. Anyway, moving on from the original Watch Dogs, we ended up with Watch Dogs 2, which was set in San Francisco. I personally like the city of San Francisco. I thought that was going to be a good game. And yeah, okay, look, it was good. I enjoyed it for what it was worth. But it wasn't quite what I wanted. It was too, what's the word? Hipster. Is that the right word to use? Can I use that word? Well, I'm going to use that word. It was too hipster for me. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Loved playing it. A good time with it, but I wouldn't go back and replay it. Whereas, obviously, with the original Watch Dogs, I have replayed it several times. But I wouldn't do it with Watch Dogs 2 because I just didn't feel that spark for it. Yes, it looked better than the first one, but obviously, Ubisoft had learned from their mistakes. But the damage was already done at this point. People had fallen out with Watch Dogs because of what they'd encountered in the first one. Anyway, they moved on. We ended up with Watch Dogs Legion. Not Watch Dogs 3. Watch Dogs Legion. But if you look, the E, is that focusing? Yeah. Is 3 lines. So, Watch Dogs 3. Yeah, whatever. Look, that game, the worst one of the lot. I think anyone you ask who's played all 3 Watch Dogs games will say that's the worst one of the bunch. It just didn't feel right. Yeah, I know they came up with a cool idea of, a new character every time or whatever. But they did that with Zombie. And that was set in London as well. It's like they're just recycling ideas. I can see through you, Ubisoft. I see through you. But yeah, for what it was worth, it was an okay game. You can get that pretty cheap now, to be honest. So, if you've got a bit of spare time and you just fancy exploring London in the future, go and play it. It's worth it. But that just put the final nail in the coffin for Watch Dogs. And I severely doubt we'll ever get another Watch Dogs game. Whether it will be called Watch Dogs 3, Watch Dogs 4, or some other, tagline to it, whatever. I don't think we'll ever get Watch Dogs. It's dead and buried. Considering what's happening with Ubisoft at the moment as well, it's highly unlikely that we'll get anything decent from Ubisoft again. As a company, they're failing. They're not doing well at all. They're going downhill. Their quality is not as good as it used to be. People have always said, Ubisoft games, well, they've never been quality. Well, I disagree. Actually, some of the earlier Assassin's Creed games are really good. Watch Dogs 1, really good. Rayman, really good. I could go on. There are some good Ubisoft games out there. But in this day and age, they focus way too much on the money. Live service. That's all they care about. And that's why these games are failing. Watch Dogs is going to fail because if they make another one, it's going to be a live service style game. But Watch Dogs has already failed because of how bad Legion was and the poor reception of Watch Dogs 1. And that's over for Watch Dogs. It never got a chance to succeed because people judged it from what they originally saw to what they played. That judgment was just not fair in many, many ways. And if that judgment had never have happened, where would Watch Dogs be now? Well, I don't think we would have ended up with Watch Dogs Legion. I think that was just a half-arsed effort to say, let's put a Watch Dogs game out there, let's see if we can, milk any more from this, and if it does well, we'll make another one, but if it doesn't, well, just leave it be. And that's what's happened. They'll just leave it be now, and Watch Dogs has ultimately failed. It's a good premise. All of those games, good premise, good ideas, just executed poorly. Marketed poorly. It's a shame. Anyway, what do you think about Watch Dogs? Do you like all 3 games? Do you hate all 3 games? Which one is your favourite? Which one's your least favourite? Let me know in the comments, because this sort of thing is really interesting. You'll notice that I do a lot of slightly controversial stuff on this channel. I suppose it's for engagement. I don't know, for views. Whatever. I'm not monetized, so I have no incentive to do that. I just like to see how people react. As someone who did psychology in college, it's nice to see a lot of reactions and comments. Yeah, I'm watching you. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.